See, I've been waiting. Waiting on that time. Feel me if you've been waiting on yours. That moment, it's close. It's close.
Yo, this is the Hungry Millennial coming to you from Chicago, Illinois. Today we talking about practice and passion, right? So if you don't have practice, right? If you're not practicing, you're not working on your craft, right? The definition for practice is repeated exercise and or performance of an activity or a skill so as to acquire or maintain proficiency in it. Right now we live in a boat as millennials where nobody's giving us the opportunity to get that shot, to get that job. They want experience, right? So find that way to get that experience that you need, and sometimes you might have to get that experience for free by volunteer your time, volunteer your services. Here's the difference. One thing that's going to make you reflect out is that selfless service, but at the same time, that hunger for more without being paid to do what you do because that's your passion, right? We have to get to the point where we eliminate the emotion that's attached to it, right? So you have, like, you get to the point where, oh man, all they talk about is I need experience, you know, and then we sit down and we talk about that experience for a really long time and we never kick it into action, right? So what I decided to do was, I was like, well, I don't have any experience in videography or anything like that. Nobody really wanted to work with me. Nobody really wanted to hustle like I wanted to hustle and create like a vlog or a podcast. So guess what I did? I went and did it. And then I started practicing it every day, right? So you see, sometimes like my first videos, they were turned straight up, right? And then all of a sudden I talked to one of my guys. He was like, hey bro, turn the camera sideways, your video's gonna get sweeter, right? So I started practicing that, right? So if you practice the small things, right, your passion will start to fuse with that practice, right? And you'll start to get sweeter at what you do. Every one of my videos, my dad was saying, he watched one of my videos and he was like, yo, you look like your camera quality is tight. You know, where'd you get all this equipment? I don't have any equipment. I literally use my iPhone, and then I edit the video with my iPhone, and then at the same time in the iPhone they have Movie Maker, right? So use the tools that you have around you to continue to practice, right? We hear people talk about Allen Iverson always talking about practice. Oh, you talking about practice? Oh, you talking about practice, right? At the same time, right? We're not talking about practicing with ourselves. And the truth about life is you're going to spend more time practicing, more time in that process than you actually will be doing that exact task, right? Or if you work for an organization, they're going to look at you to be sweet at whatever you're doing so you don't have to continue to stop and practice, right? Well, you have to grow and change, yes, because technology changes over time, right? But you cannot use you have no right to use the excuse, I don't have years of experience or I don't have the experience, when you have all the tools in front of you. We live in the age of technology. So get on Instagram, get on Facebook, get on whatever platform, get on LinkedIn, find those organizations that are doing what you want to do and interweave yourself into that, right? Study what they do, study what their core concepts are, right? And then you start to practice those things on your own, right? Or you just send them an email, hey, I would like to volunteer my time for free, right? Because we spend most of our time using Twitter fingers and texting all the time anyway. So what's the difference, right? So just and once you can find that point where you're practicing your passion infused together, you become an ultimate role player, right? Anybody ever watched that player that was real sweet in middle school, that was taking buckets, that was doing whatever they was doing, that was hooping, that was great at whatever they did? It didn't matter. It could have been speech or whatever, right? Apply it to your own context in that sense. The thing is that person, you notice the people start to dwindle away that didn't have passion for that craft, right? Because they didn't have passion for the practice. They didn't have passion for the process, right? So once you can build that passion for the process, things in your life will start to change. It don't matter. The happiest person at McDonald's eventually transitions to be the happiest person at, corporate McDonald's, right? A lot of great leaders, they started at a bottom place, but at the same time, it was about that mindset, that vision that they had. They were willing to practice what they did over and over until they just got sweet at it, right? And then they started to become a subject matter expert, right? We live in a day and age where we have to create our own internships. A lot of times we're creating our own organizations. We're creating our own jobs, right? So in whatever you're doing with that job or creation of that, make sure you're practicing your craft along the way, because that's going to be what sets you apart when you go to put that value on the table, right? You've already brought the value because you've been practicing it over and over and over and over again. It doesn't take years. If you really think about it, it might just take a year of grinding every day, because that value that you brought of grinding every day, the same people that are in that craft, they're not grinding every day. They're taking vacations, they're taking hours off, right? They're not maximizing their time when they have the time, right? So you might be sweeter in that 365 than that actual person is in that 5-year stint that they spent at their job, right? So stay in the race, use that practice, infuse it with passion, and then keep it moving, right? I've always noticed that if I kept practicing at something, I was able to make more moves in the future, right? But if I don't practice, if you don't practice, your passion will start to dwindle, and then you'll start to give up on yourself. So do me a favor. Yo, this is a Hungry Millennial. Practice. Practice. Practice what you're doing, infuse that with passion, and you're going to be great. Yo, this has been a Hungry Millennial. My pleasure. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Hungry Millennial out.